Go ahead and call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is an open meeting of the Seward, Nebraska governing body. The city is certified with the Nebraska Open Meetings Act in conducting business. A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is displayed on the north wall of this meeting room facility as required. Disclosure of meeting recording process is posted in the meeting room. The participant sign sheet is available for use by any citizen addressing the council. Presenters shall approach the podium, state their name and address for the clerk's record, and are asked to limit remarks to 5 minutes. All remarks shall be directed to the mayor, who shall determine by whom any appropriate response shall be made. Right. The city of Seward reserves the right to adjust the order of items on this agenda if necessary, and may elect to take action on any of the items listed. Please call the roll.
Wilkin.
Present.
Beck.
Here.
Everett.
Here.
Fritz. Miller.
Here.
Singleton.
Here.
Schmidt.
Here.
Hands.
Here. First item this evening is consideration of approval of draft minutes of December 19th, 2017.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
There we go. Voting in favor, Wilkin, Beck, Kemper, Miller, Singleton, Schmidt, Hands, motion carried.
Next items we have is the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Wilkin, Beck, Kemper, Miller, Singleton, Schmidt, Hands, motion carried.
Next we have appointments, or the reappointment of Gary Rolfe, and appointment of Sandy Wright, Martha Bender, and Lisa Carl, just to replace Ken Baldinger, Roger Hands, and Jeannie Jerry to the Seward Aging Services Commission for a 2-year term.
Move for approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the rest of your votes, please display the votes.
In favor, Wilkin, Beck, Kemper, Miller, Singleton, Schmidt, Hands, motion carried.
Next we have consideration of request from Seward County Chamber Development Partnership to use Independence Landing, the pond area, for a Lincoln Stars hockey exhibition game on February 4th, 2018. Jonathan Jank.
Yes, thanks, Mayor.
Welcome.
Good evening, Council. I have some flyers here to pass out, and the information on it is pending your approval. So I'm not assuming this is a foregone conclusion, and so we just have information. I have 10 copies total. So if you're familiar, the last couple of years, we've been fortunate to have a partnership with the Lincoln Salt Dogs. We've decided to give that partnership a rest, at least for this year. Felt like we need to think of kind of innovative events to help get the community and the county involved. And so I actually have a contact that was previously with the Lincoln Salt Dogs, who's now with the Lincoln Stars. And so we thought about essentially modeling the exact same model that we had with the Lincoln Salt Dogs for the Lincoln Stars. So the model is they play an exhibition game here in Seward, and then we have a Seward County night at it was at the at Haymarket Park, but this is at will be at the Ice Box. And so basically it's 2 tickets for the price of 1, family-friendly event. We coincided it with Super Bowl Sunday, which it isn't specifically for Super Bowl. It's to coincide with the Seward Showcase basketball tournament that will be in town. So that brings in 160 teams, which is thousands of people that come to town. And so we're hoping to grab people's attention and keep them in town to spend some dollars even after the tournament's done. So the organizers said everything ends about 2 o'clock, and so the hope is to grab them to spend some more time here within the community. So the request tonight, you can see the details for the event. The request specifically is for usage of the pond, the Independence Landing pond, and we've talked with the Lincoln Stars contacts, and they feel like this is going to work. They're basically going to cordon off the part that they actually need to use. They actually have an ice technician who will test the ice to make sure that it's playable. Of course, we'll have a special event insurance to cover the event itself to make sure that the city's covered from a liability standpoint. I talked with both Bob and Pat, and they were supportive of this. We also met with the Seward County Ag Society. They're supportive of the event as well. We've rented Harvest Hall, and that's where we'll kind of have indoor-outdoor activities is the proposal. And indoor, you can talk with the stars, meet with the stars. There will be some concessions, games, or our business sponsors will have an ability to have a booth to get to interact with families. And so the request specifically is for usage of the pond, and because that's city property, that's why I'm in front of you today. And then we're renting Harvest Hall from the Ag Society for the rest of the event. The other ask along with that, with the pond, is based on feedback from the ice technician. They want it to be 5 to 6 inches thick, and most people don't like this weather. I like it for this case because it thickens the ice for us. But the sense is if the ice is not thick enough, they've asked if we potentially can have access to some water to try to thicken just the area that they would be playing on. So that would be a request along with the pond access. And so I don't know if that's kind of a two-pronged ask here, access for the pond and then the potential for the water. And then coordinating with Bob and Pat, they've agreed to help bring some bleachers along as long as the council is supportive of this usage of the city facilities for this event. So appreciate your consideration and would love to answer any questions.
How much water were we talking about?
It would just be for kind of the regulation hockey rink, if you want to call it that, and that's only if it's, and if it's like 2 inches, we're not going to fiddle around. I mean, we're talking if it's 5 inches, and it would be trying to get it to 6, basically, and it would be an overnight sort of a thing. They said they literally could use a hose, and they would just put it within the actual area, so it'd be cordoned off, and it wouldn't be for longer than an overnight sort of a period. And they'll be drilling. I mean, the ice technician, I didn't even know that was a thing, but they actually drill to make sure that it's thick enough ice
Right.
to play on.
And if not, we just fish through that hole.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah,
And so the backup plan is, let's say Mother Nature doesn't work with us, we'll play basically street hockey, we'll play inside, and we've gotten approval to do
So
that.
you're gonna want support of the fire department then?
Well, you said a hose, you talking about running a hose from the Harvest
Basically,
Hall, or-
whatever the water access is, I don't even honestly know what the water access is there, so that's maybe a specific question here.
Yeah, I just don't like I don't like not having a specific amount in mind as far as how much water we're talking about. I mean,
Sure.
obviously, if you need to, you could potentially access the fire truck, but then again, I don't know how much of a tank is that
Sure.
gonna, cause you're talking an inch of water, is that frozen water,
Right.
potentially.
And I can get you more details on that. It was just the request that was from the Stars. They said, you know, if we have access to water, that would give us a better chance of playing if it's close.
I think we can work with you, like I said, I don't wanna be a situation where there's like 2 inches and they want 5 additional
Totally.
inches, and all of a sudden,
And I
well,
agree.
we approved it, so I would like probably some discretion on that as
Absolutely.
we get closer.
Yeah, and that's gonna be critical, cause then we might have to ask for support from somebody that's got a bigger tankers than what we got.
Sure, okay. And that's helpful to know.
Yeah.
I don't even know what specifically the ask is, other than the
Sure.
Stars said, hey, if we can thicken up the ice from safety standpoint, they'd appreciate
Or
that.
if, depends on how close the fire hydrant is,
Mhm.
and then, unroll that much hose too.
And hopefully it's cold enough like this that we won't have an issue, and
And now will the city get a copy of the liability statement?
absolutely, yeah.
And Bonnie girls usually collect those on file.
Yeah, we did that for Salt Dogs, we'll do the
Yeah.
exact same thing.
Any other questions or comments from the council?
Do we have any idea how thick the ice is now that's out there?
That's actually, that was what we were talking about today. So we're gonna be coordinating, pending approval, we'll coordinate with the Lincoln Stars, pre here over the next week or so to make sure that they're coming out and saying, okay, with this sort of weather, are we even close to what we need? The feedback we've gotten so far is this will work just fine as long as it's below freezing, but, that's what
Yeah,
we'll
'cause
figure
the
out.
question would be is if, before, because the ice would freeze almost all the way, and they had problems killing the fish. And I thought, they dug that down, but I thought that they have agitating water. Don't quote me, but I thought they've done something like that.
Well, obviously, would work
Yeah.
with them and make sure that
Yeah.
those issues are
And we're gonna
addressed.
be reasonable, we
Yeah.
don't wanna be unreasonable with too much
Well,
water.
and the other thing, just thinking through things that can go right and wrong. I mean, it was last year about this time that we were talking about allowing ice fishing out there and everything else,
Right.
which I believe we approved. We put together the whole thing, so, what's going on out there now? Is somebody gonna go put a hole in the ice right where they're gonna wanna play hockey?
Right, right. And that would be part of the, let's say the ice is, I'm playing through hypotheticals here. Let's say the ice is thick enough, but there's a couple of strategic holes, we would have to fill them. And so that would be maybe one of the reasons why you'd want at least just a basic hole to try to fill those as best as possible. But again, they have their ice technician, practically, that we're not gonna be able to help them. They're just gonna have to tell us, yes, this works, or no, it doesn't.
Sounds good. Any other questions or comments? Would someone like to make a motion? Do you have any concerns, Kelly, on this? No? Okay.
No, just that the city's named as an insurer.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would someone like to make a motion?
Do you want a motion that's conditional upon anything, or just a straight motion and let it ride?
I'd say a motion to approve the use, and then we will just address administratively, we'll address the water issue. Unless you wanted to put something more specific.
No, I just, pending
There's too many
discussions,
variables
right,
to really
we don't
know,
what to say, okay.
but
I'll
if you're
move-
comfortable with that.
I'll move to approve
Okay.
pending those talks.
All right, there's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your vote. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, welcome back campus, Miller, Singleton, Schmidt, Harris, motion carried.
Item number 7, authorization of Fire Chief James Kimsey on behalf of the Seward Volunteer Fire Department to sign any and all forms related to the receipt of life insurance and estate gifts from Helen Vanderval to the Seward Volunteer Fire Department. Greg?
Pursuant to my discussion with Councilman Singleton, we can go ahead and skip over this item. They've already authorized him as treasurer secretary to fill out all those forms that have been submitted to the party, so we can move on to the next one.
Moving on to number 8 then. Authorization of Mayor Eichmann on behalf of the City of Seward to sign any and all forms related to the receipt. Is this the same, or is this different?
It's the same thing. So it's the same estate, but
Okay,
different.
request.
Yep.
Okay, authorization of Mayor Eichmann on behalf of the City of Seward to sign any and all forms related to the receipt of life insurance and estate gifts from Helen Vanderval to the Seward Police Department.
The reason these are separate is the specific gift given in the last item was to the fire department, which is a separate fund from us. And so this is for the police department, so this goes in our donation funds that you guys budget for. And this is just a number of life insurance policies that were taken out, and we were listed as a partial beneficiary to go directly to the police department with some other specifics attached to it. But we need to authorize somebody in the minutes to sign all the forms to send in, and so that's what this action is.
Any questions or comments?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes, please display the votes.
Voting in favor, welcome back campus, Miller, Singleton, Schmidt, Harris, motion carried.
Next item, number 9, is City Administrator's Report.
I'll answer questions that you may have in regards to city administrator's report. The only thing I'll note is the next meeting will likely be at the Civic Center now. We're anticipating the final approval of all the items in Shoal Creek that we talked about last time. We'll also be considering Fairway Woods, which is the large development next to Augusta and the golf course. We have a rezoning and a whole bunch of other items, but we're anticipating more than will fit in this room with that. And so we just want to be proactive, so I think we're going to move to the Civic Center basement for that. And so we're just trying to find a place for planning commission because it's already booked over there. So we might move that to the library. That's all I have.
Any questions for Greg?
We'll send out a reminder email to you. We will let you know again and again and again, so you don't show up here. We'll put signs up.
You would like to make a motion to accept the City Administrator's Report?
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second, please register your votes, please display the votes.
Voting in favor, welcome back campus, Miller, Singleton, Schmidt, Harris, motion carried.
Next, we have future requests for council agenda items or administrative action.
Next meeting, we might wanna put on there, Greg, if we can put a copy of the interlocal for the waste, or is that something we wanna discuss?
We'll probably want to get a copy of whatever they're doing. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay,
If you can get it to me from
Marvin.
then I can forward it on to Kelly and we can take a look at it. And then if we want to consider it at the next meeting, that'll be fine.
Okay, I'll before we move.
Because we'll have the interlocal event with the NRD as well at the next meeting for the 75,000. So there'll be a number of things.
Not seeing any other requests. Moving on to announcement of upcoming events. Jonathan?
Just annual meeting extravaganza at Harvest Hall on Monday, January 22nd, and then the Lincoln Stars event on the 4th, and then it'll be Seward County Night, the Icebox on the 18th.
Okay, great. So we have our upcoming events, and next we have a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Second.
Motion and a second, please register your votes, please display the votes.
Voting in favor, welcome back campus, Miller, Singleton,
Oh,
Schmidt,
you
Harris,
blew
motion
it.
Thank you. Shoot for 15.
What?